Ahead and share my screen. All right. So welcome to our Drop It overview. We're going to go over everything that we do here, hopefully answer some questions that you guys are seeing or you have to ask, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Any questions that you guys have, I'm going to go ahead and save them until the end. You'll notice that you can't see anyone else on the call and that you're muted for some privacy reasons. But if you do have any questions or anything, feel free to type it right in that questions box, and I will absolutely answer your questions. I'll usually wait till the end, and I'll read the question out loud in case someone else has it, and then go from there. All right, so today we're going to be talking a little bit about metabolism and the different types of fat that we have. We're going to be talking about our meal planning that we do here, our technology, how our plan actually works, as well as maintenance in the long-term plan, and then people's individual results. I will actually get to hear from a few of our clients that are actually on the program, and we'll see some results as well. If you're interested in testimonials or anything, there is a link for you guys to check out to see some actual testimonials as well. And then how do you get started with us? I'm going to let you know exactly how to do that. So jumping right in, this is one of the quotes that I absolutely love. It says, "It's not selfish to love yourself, take care of yourself, and make happiness a priority. It's necessary." So I really like this quote because, first of all, I didn't introduce myself. I apologize. My name is Ashley. I am the registered nurse that works for Drop It, and I'm a new mom, so I struggled with this as well, putting myself first and really making nutrition and health a priority. So I want to talk a little bit about today about putting you first. So taking care of yourself is necessary because it allows you to take care of your family and be around for a long time, be able to run after your kids, your grandchildren. So for many reasons, it's important to take care of yourself first. So just to start off, I just want to ask you guys, what programs have you tried in the past? So go ahead and take a minute just to type it in and see what the programs that you tried in the past are. Okay, I see Weight Watchers. I see Ideal Protein. Awesome. So these are common programs that you guys have tried. I like to get a feeling for what you've tried in the past, what worked, what hasn't worked. And then I also want to know what your favorite thing to do that is your weight is limiting you from doing. Okay, I have walking up the stairs without getting out of breath. I have chasing after my grandkids. Awesome. Awesome reasons, you guys, for being here. And really, we want to help you chase after your kids and climb that stairs without getting out of breath. So are you guys ready? I'm going to jump right into this, okay? So metabolism and types of fat. So metabolism plays a role in every single one of our systems in our body, not just the breakdown of food. So it's a common misconception that metabolism is only responsible for breaking down food. It's actually not. It's responsible for a lot, almost every organ that we have in our body, and a lot of things that the systems that we have going on, not just the breakdown of food. So we are also full of toxins, okay? So one of the reasons why we continue to put weight on is because we think that we are eating good because our metabolism is just slowed down. That's not always the case. We are full of toxins, and also the more fat that we have, the more toxins that we tend to store, okay? So one of the things that we utilize here that I'm going to talk about is really targeting those toxins that are hindering in our body, that are prohibiting our metabolism from functioning the way that it should be, okay? So since I touched upon those toxins that are stored in our fat reserves, we do have 3 types of fat, okay? And I'm just going to adjust these just so that when I start to jump into, I'm going to talk about a part of the brain that we're targeting, and I'm really going to get technical on you, but I want to just kind of outline these key points so that you really understand exactly what we're doing here. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is structural fat. So structural fat is going to be the fat that you guys have in your body that resides around your joints, your organs. They provide protection and support, okay? You also have normal or essential fat, which are fats that are, it's pretty evenly distributed throughout the body, and it's used for our day-to-day energy, okay? So structural fat and normal fat are the two fats that are considered to be normal when in normal amounts. So it is normal for us to have a small amount of these so that we're really cushioning our joints and providing protection for our organs, and fueling ourselves with energy, all right? We then all have secondary or non-essential fat. This is that obesity-causing fat that it accumulates for different people, in different places for different people. Typically, in women, it accumulates a little bit more around their thighs, their waist, their stomach, their butt. Let's be honest, us females carry it a little bit worse than you males on this call. But the men tend to carry it more in their upper back, their chest, and their neck. But these fat reserves are not released during a normal diet and exercise. They are actually retained as emergency reserves. We only tap into these as a last resort. So if we're in severe long-term starvation. So I want you to keep this secondary and non-essential fat in your mind, because I'm going to address a part of the brain that really starts to tap into this in just a minute, okay? So they are not available to be burned readily unless you're in a long period of starvation, unless you're pregnant, then you tend to be tapping into these to fuel the baby, or if you're in a period of inadequate calorie restriction, so intake, okay? So this is a key to our weight loss protocol, and we're really going to be targeting this secondary or non-essential fat as well, okay, and using fat as an energy source. So first, let me touch upon our meal plan. So what we are consuming is going to be protein, fruit, and vegetables for the first section of our plan, okay? We are going to cook them in a whole, clean way. So we're going to grill, bake, or steam them with no added oils. A lot of people ask me, how do I season them? You can season these with any fresh herb or seasoning. So we're cooking these very clean. However, this meal plan portion that I talk about, the protein, fruit, and vegetable, is really only 25% of what we do here. Because if it was 100%, it would be an outside-in approach, okay? So some of the plans that you guys had listed that you have tried in the past are what I like to be considered an outside-in approach, where they're just doing things to you. They never actually get down to correcting anything internally. So typically when we get to our goal, we start to veer off a little bit. We start to treat ourselves, and we never actually get down to correcting and balancing our metabolism. So that's why we tend to veer off, and as soon as we stop doing those plans, the weight comes back on. So one of our goals here is to put an end to that, okay? So let me jump into a big chunk. About 75% of what we do here is our technology, okay? So the first test that we run is called a body composition analysis. So if you guys aren't local, we don't do those local, we only do these to local clients, apologize. So what this test is going to do is it's not only going to give us your weight today, but it's going to give us your percent body fat, your percent visceral fat, which is that fat that surrounds all of our organs. We're going to get your bone mass, your muscle mass, your metabolic age. We're going to get a good idea of not only where you stand health-wise, but also kind of where you would fall within our program, where we need to go from there, okay? I like to refer this as a testing. So you go in, something's wrong with your car, you drive it to the body shop, and they run a test to see what isn't working in your car. So that's what we're doing right now. We're seeing what's not working under the hood of your car, okay? From there, we do what's called galvanic skin response testing. Now, you guys are probably familiar with this, you just don't know it. So if you've ever heard of or if you've ever been through the allergy testing that they used to do in allergy clinics, okay? They used to poke you with a bunch of different needles, put a few drops of a mimic of an allergen on to see how your skin responds. That is a form of skin response testing. Allergy clinics are actually shying away from poking people with needles, and that test has been turned technology-based. Another way that galvanic skin response testing is utilized for is in lie detector tests, okay? So they use galvanic skin response testing to hook you up. They usually strap your fingers in. They put a heart monitor on. We don't use a heart monitor, but it's the same approach, okay? So they ask you, is your eye color green? Is this your name? Is this your date of birth? So they're scanning you for a baseline when they do that, and we're doing the same. Our computer scans you for a baseline. The first test that we do is called a metabolic test. So we're going to scan you for a bacteria, fungi, molds, food factors, hormonal factors, emotional factors. We're going to find out exactly what is stressing your body and your metabolism that's prohibiting you from losing weight. That's the first galvanic skin response test that we do. So the computer scans you for a baseline, holds different properties of these bacteria, fungi, etc., up to your body to see exactly how your body is responding it by electrical conductivity, okay? The next test that we do is used a little bit down the road, but it's where we do our food testing, where we can really determine what foods are working for your metabolism, your body, and what foods are working against your metabolism. I'm going to dive into this a little bit more in just a minute, as well as the DNA testing. So the next step that we do as well is going to be DNA testing. As we said, no invasive procedures. We swab the inside of your cheek. We send your cells off to our lab, and what you get back is about a 40-page report, all about you. It's really going to break down exactly your genes, your variants, your SNPs. It's going to tell us exactly how your body is recognizing and utilizing food, okay? What genes and variants do you carry that is causing you to be maybe breaking down fat a little bit harshly, or maybe carbohydrates, or maybe you're someone who has restricted carbohydrates for the last 5 years and has really struggled. Your DNA report may show that carbohydrates are really what fuels your body. You function best off of a higher carbohydrate diet. It's also going to tell us fitness regimens that are going to work best for your body. So for some people, heavy weightlifting works better for them versus running. Some people, interval training versus long distance training, as well as behavioral tendencies that are related to food and weight management. Now, I'm also going to dive into this a little bit further in just a few minutes, but just to want to let you guys know, all of this that I'm saying, these are customized for you. This is individual. So if you're someone who has neck pain, back pain, hip pain, and you're like, whoa, heavy weightlifting, running long distance, like, I don't know if this is going to work for me. So everyone is an individual. One of the main things that we really focus on is treating you as such. So we really want the chance to sit down one-on-one with you to be able to discuss, you know, where are you at? What are your goals? Where can we start? And you'll be surprised at the changes that happen in as little as 5 weeks, okay? So I'm next going to talk a little bit about our formulas that we utilize. We utilize what's called homeopathic formulas that help us aid in correcting and balancing your metabolism, okay? So we have what's called the systemic detox homeopathic formulas. For those of you who aren't familiar with homeopathy, all natural, okay? No drugs, no stimulants, no hormones, nothing like that. We are not using anything like that in our plan, okay? And I'm going to kind of tie this all together in just 1 second. So the systemic detox, I talked a little bit about how we're full of toxins, and those toxins are really hidden in our fat reserves. The more fat reserves that we have, the more toxins we typically carry. But it's really affecting the way that we're breaking down and utilizing food, the way our metabolism is working in our body. So the first thing is a systemic detox that we're going to utilize. You're not going through any kind of detoxification period where you're in the bathroom or sweating or anything like that. All it is again, fat reserves have a lot of toxins stored in them. So when we start to utilize those reserves for energy, we want to make sure that we're excreting those reserves, those toxins, excuse me, and not absorbing them into our organs, okay? We also use what's called HA2CG, okay? So this is not an active hormone. What this is it's similar to HCG, but what our lab has done is customize this formula that is the bioequivalent to the hormone HCG, okay? So when a woman is pregnant, it protects the fetus from the mother taking any nutrients in the body, okay? Its main goal is to fuel the baby and utilize the mom's fat reserves to do that, okay? So what we're doing is our lab has designed this HA2CG, which is 2 bioidentical peptides that are in HCG that really start to focus in, we add them to our body, we take them to help us recognize that those reserves are there, okay? Most of the properties that are in this formula are already found in your body, so we're simply enhancing them to get your body to start to recognize that those fat reserves are there. And I'm going to touch upon the part of the brain that is responsible for this as well, okay? So there's also what's called a methyl B, which is just a B vitamin, a variety of B vitamins that are used for energy, okay? So let me put this together for you a little bit. You have your initial consultation, you come in, you sit down, we meet one-on-one, we discuss your goals, we go forward. We have a lot of different plans, so for some people, they're not even using these homeopathic formulas, they're just doing the DNA. I can't stress enough that every plan is very individualized, okay? So typically we do your metabolic testing and we start you on your homeopathic formulas. Everyone is on these formulas for a bit of a different time. Some people are on them for 3 weeks, other people are on them for 12. It kind of depends on, again, your individual assessment, okay? This restricted calorie approach, we are using protein, fruits, and vegetables, okay? So I want to touch upon what happens when you use our formulas with a calorie restriction versus without a calorie restriction, okay? So as part of doing that, I want to start to talk about the part of the brain that is responsible for our day-to-day functions, okay? The diencephalon is part of the brain. It's right above your brainstem, and it's responsible for your right thalamus, your left thalamus, your hypothalamus, and its main responsibility is for basic functions of the body, okay? But like breathing, beating of your heart, etc. But it's also responsible for directing the storage and use of fats, okay? It is reset when our caloric intake reaches lower levels so that the body is then able to be forced to utilize this fat, okay? So when you are on a restricted calorie plan, not using any kind of our homeopathic formulas, the HA2CG, our body starts to crave carbs and protein. If we're not utilizing it, it's then going to go to muscle before fat. What we want to do is we want to reset this part of the brain and really trigger our body to know that those fat reserves, those secondary fat reserves that we want to fuel off as those inner reserves that are there, so we can start to utilize them and fuel them for energy, okay? So we're tapping into that secondary fat right away instead of we're preserving our muscle mass, we're preserving our bone mass. So that's really the process that we go through, and in utilizing our our body composition analysis, we're really able to see those objectives numbers. So we're able to have you get on our scanner and see, okay, look at your muscle mass is preserved and we've lost several pounds of fat only, okay? So what about after I lose the weight? So as I said, we're on the homeopathic formulas for different amounts of time, and I did touch a little bit upon this just a few slides ago, but the first thing that we do is that genetic test, okay? So macronutrients, the USDA puts out a proportion of macronutrients that work best for the body. So proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. For everyone, this is different. For some people, they work better with a higher protein diet. Other people work better with a higher fat diet. You may know someone who has done the Atkins diet, let's say, and you did it as well, and your friend lost 60 pounds and you lost 5. Why? It's because everyone is genetically built different. We all have different variants. We all have different genes, S&Ps. So we really want to break down and really get deep within us to find out how our body is recognizing and utilizing food, okay? This report starts to talk about losing weight, and then it also starts to talk about a plan for when you do hit your goal. So it'll, again, talk about fitness regimens, as I talked about, and also behavioral tendencies that are related to food and weight management. Now, the great thing about genetic testing is that your DNA is never going to change. So these are great tools to utilize. Let's say 5 years from now, you start to pick up some of your old habits, you notice your weight starting to creep back up, you can grab these results and pull them out and tune to the losing weight section and say, let's gather this up and put our plan back in place, okay? I touched a little bit about our food galvanic skin response test, but what was going to come of that is a list of your positive foods and your negative foods. Not nutrition-wise, what is good for you and what is bad for you. It's more of going to be how is your body recognizing these foods and utilizing them, okay? So for example, something like a banana. It's a great food, it's high in potassium, it's great nutrients in it, but it could be a negative for you. Does not mean you should never eat a banana again. Just means that our banana is taking a little bit of a long time to utilize those nutrients that are in it, so we may want to put a positive nut butter on it, or just simply pair it with a positive fruit. Our goal is going to be just to keep a balance in our body, okay? It's not going to be a crazy, I ate 3 negatives today, I need to eat 3 positives. It's more of just going to be learning our body so that we can really, it's very simple to lose and maintain weight when you're eating for what works and fuels your body, okay? Doesn't mean that you can never go out and have a slice of pizza and drink a beer again, okay? Our goal is to really teach you how to adapt to this and learn it so that you can treat yourself, here and there and be able to not compromise your results. So speaking of results, just to give you an idea of the weight loss, our males typically average about a 34-pound weight loss at the end of 7 weeks. My females average about a 28-pound weight loss at the end of 7 weeks. Everyone is different. Again, I can't stress that enough. We do have guarantees on the weight loss, but everyone is different that comes into us. Some people only have to lose 10 pounds. It takes them a little while to lose it. Other people, the 10 pounds flies off of them. Everyone is different, okay? So we all start in a different place, but our end goal is all the same, okay? So I want to show you a little bit of results, a few pictures. So just to give you an idea of the weight loss that we see very quickly. It's very simple for this weight to come off when we are triggering the right parts of the body and fueling up from our own reserves for energy. We're utilizing those reserves instead of just, dieting and restricting ourselves, okay? Some more results, as you see, 6.8 pounds in 4 days. Also, people are not only just being, affected weight loss-wise, but also health-wise, which is one of our main goals. So, for example, cholesterol down 100 points in just 3 weeks on the plan, okay? So these are great results that we like to see. We just heard from someone in one of our previous teleconferences that come off of all of their medication. They're sleeping better. They've had sleep apnea in the past and they're able to come off of their CPAP. They've had reflux, chronic reflux that the doctor was kind of baffled about and was able to come off of their medication and go forward from there. So these are great things that are non-scale victories that we love to hear, because our main goals here are not only to get you to your goals, but also to get you healthy as well. Okay, so now what? What we're going to do is we are going to, let me just hop off for a second to see if some of our clients are on that we can talk to. All right, so I have one of our clients, Mike, who is on with us today. I'm going to go ahead and unmute him to see if he's available to just kind of give you a little rundown of his experience. Mike? All right. While we're waiting for Mike, we're going to go ahead and listen to Desiree. Desiree?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. So let me think about this quickly for a minute. So I started Drop It about, I want to say I'm on day 58. It was something I'd been contemplating for a long time. Well, after, looking at Dr. John Sotil's results, I just was like motivated more and more. And anyway, we had spoken about it and I decided to try it, and it was the best decision I've ever made. I am on day 58 and I've lost a little over 40 pounds. I'm almost at my halfway weight loss. I want to lose 84 pounds. So I think I have another 44 to go, which we're getting there. But I am just so energized, and I wake up in the morning and it's just a lifestyle now. Like, I wake up and I take my drops in the morning, and I pack my lunch for the day if we're going out, pack my dinner. I never leave the house without any proper food that I have to eat, my free foods that I can eat, just so that I'm always prepared. And it takes the pressure off of worrying about if I'm going somewhere and I can't eat this or I can't eat that, I always have my food with me. And just my family has seen such a difference in my energy levels. I'm able to play with my daughter more, and I'm sleeping like a baby. It would take me a while to fall asleep at night, at least 2 hours. And now I literally lay my head on the pillow and I sleep. My husband says I don't snore anymore. So that's really awesome. I just sleep so well right now, and it's really this program. Like, I feel healthier, and I try to tell everybody, that I meet about it, and just like it really is a lifestyle change. A lot of people will see your results, your before and after, and think that it's like, oh my gosh, you're taking this magic pill and you can still eat whatever you want. And it isn't. You really do. It is a lot of willpower, but the reward at the end is so worth it versus just the 2 minutes of satisfaction of eating something bad for your body. And it's not even the food, it's just what it's doing to people in their bodies, like lowering their blood pressure, and it's just amazing the results people have gotten. So it's definitely the best choice that I've made. And if you're thinking about doing it, you should totally jump on the train with us, where you will not be sorry. So that's my little bit.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing with us, Desiree. And we have Mike coming up next, Mike, I'm going to unmute you. Mike?
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, I am on the radio, kind of.
Yeah.
So, hey guys, how you doing? My name's Mike. I joined the Drop It program 19 days ago. I've lost 24.2 pounds or something of that nature. 0.8 or 0.2, but yeah, 24.2 pounds. It's going really well. Kind of give you a little history of what I was before. I started off at 255. It was the heaviest I've ever been. And over the past couple of years, depression really set in. I hated who I was. I know, God says that we're all, created in His image, but I looked at myself and I said, if I'm created in God's image, God's image is pretty gross. But it's amazing, this program, because of the fact that the results happen pretty quick. And I actually like myself again. I see myself and I can't help but walk past that mirror and kind of check myself out. Now, it is difficult. It's not as easy as 1, 2, 3. There is a lot of willpower that has to take effect. The first 2 weeks, it's very hard, but you need to push through because of the fact that it's totally, totally worth it. Now, I did ask Dr. John if I could say this, and he said I could. He does not recommend this, but, I don't follow the plan 100%, like more like 97%. And I'm still losing a ton of weight. The best part of this diet, to be honest with you, it's not even a diet, it's a lifestyle change, is you're learning portion control. We as Americans, we eat so much food, we eat large portions, and we all see the results. With this program, we're actually learning to have portion control. We're learning to control our hunger. And after the second week, those cravings are already gone. I don't eat a ton of food at all anymore. I'm from an Italian family. We like, eating is our job. It's like we check in and check out. It's like eating. And nowadays, I don't have to have that much food anymore. Food's not my comfort zone. Food doesn't make me happy anymore. Losing weight makes me happy. Having my wife, check me out and be like, hey, you look pretty good, makes me happy. So if you're thinking about doing this, don't think too hard. If you ever think you're going to drive yourself nuts, just do it. If you guys, it's one of the best things you can do. If you're suffering from depression because of the way you look, if you tried everything out there and you feel like nothing's working, well, it's true, it's not working. This does work, and I'm living proof of it. So that's my spiel.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for sharing, Mike. I love what he said, how, I mean, Desiree said it as well, that it's not always easy, especially in the beginning, making any kind of change, any kind of restricting any kind of the carbohydrates or the sugar that you're taking in. There are some side effects that come with the food that you're eating, and that's normal, but as they said, it does require some willpower, but then the results that start to just kind of happen on their own are amazing. So we have, you know, a lot of people who are experiencing the same thing as they're saying. That is part of why I love doing what I do, is helping people feel the way that you've heard people feel today. So how to get started, you're going to receive an email to, I believe it comes through in a couple hours or tomorrow. And it has a link to register to come in and sit down with us and start to develop your plan that works for you. So that's how we're going to get started, is to book an initial consultation with us, to come in, sit down, assess your situation, you know, pick the right plan for you to go forward to and really get started at that time. If you're someone who's not from around here, we can absolutely touch base and talk about your plan from there as well, okay? So pretty much that's all that I have for you today, is reviewing the plan. But if you have any questions, feel free to type it in the questions box below. I'm going to go ahead and stay on for a couple minutes to make sure any questions that you have are answered. And then if not, feel free to respond to the email address provided for your link here, or go ahead and schedule your initial consultation, and we're looking forward to seeing you soon. So again, I'm going to stay on for a few minutes to see if there's any questions, and then go from there. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your night to join us on here on Drop It.